Welcome to the workshop A'ai ko Hula, A'ai ke mele, and which translates to Dare to Dance, Dare to Sing. The name of my workshop comes from an olelo no eau, or a wise proverb, a Hawaiian proverb, and the original proverb is A'ai ka hula, waiho ka hila hila, ikahale. So when you dance hula, leave your bashfulness at home. That's basically what it translates to. And with that said, we're gonna frame how the workshop's gonna go. So our guidelines for today to keep this a safe space is when we share statements, try to share from your own experiences and knowledges by using I statements, and try not to speak for a whole group of people or for others because everyone has different experiences and interpretations. The second is confidentiality. So when people share, sometimes it's very personal. So any personal stories that people share, keep that in this space. But whatever lessons that is shared, that can leave. So take what you need, but keep the personal stories here. Third is to think about how your impact, what you say will impact someone versus like what you intend it to be, because sometimes people have the best intentions and it could be misinterpreted in the worst way. So let's avoid that. Fourth is vocalizing your feelings. So if you support something, give a snap, clap, or like use the chat box, the chat action to clap or do a thumbs up. If something might have offended you, you can say ouch or say, hey, something you said really bothered me. Or if something you said might have hurt somebody, you can be like, oops, that's my bad. I didn't know. So vocalize how you feel. The fifth guideline is to step up and step back. So if you're someone who loves to share, that's awesome. However, we want to make sure everyone's voices is included. So be mindful of how much space that you take up. And if you know someone who wants to share, like bring them into the space to share. The sixth guideline is to know that silence is totally okay. Everyone's on a different learning journey, and sometimes new information can take a little bit to process. So it's okay for discussions to be silent. It's totally cool. Seventh guideline is to leave space for growth. So like I just said, everyone's on a different learning experience, learning journey. So we want this to be a supportive space to nurture that growth. Eighth guideline is don't yuck my yum. So no haters in the building. Haters in the building is gonna get kicked out of the building. That's it. And that is for when we share in our discussions, or if we react to anything. And during performances, know that this space was created as a space of aloha, and aloha isn't hi and goodbye. It's love, affection, understanding, support. It's just all the good things that encompass love, and it's very deep. So this is a space for you to be safe in if you want to share. 10th is to take care of yourself. So if you gotta go to the bathroom, if you gotta eat, all good, mukbang or whatever. Just kidding. 11th is same thing, don't yuck my yum. So no haters, period, underscore, everything. And the last one is to mute microphones during share outs. We want to be really present when people share because they're sharing a part of themselves, and we just want to keep that respect. So now that we all know the guidelines, if you guys have anything else you want to add, please feel free to put it in the chat box. And so before we start, I want to pose a question to the group. we're not going to do no breakout sessions because that's just a lot. This will be like a 5 to 7 minute discussion, and I'm just asking the community why you think our traditions place so much importance on dancing, storytelling, and singing. So if you want to share, unmute your microphones, blow up the chat box. It is totally cool. And I want to unshare. Okay. So, does anyone have anything to share? Okay. In the chat, Fia Loia, sorry if I said that wrong, said it's our history. To know who we are was shared by Leilani Kaivela Hijrera. JZY said that there are many outlets, feelings, history, etc. that cannot be expressed in just words, like it. And Taecia says it tells our story. Okay. Nedralani said dance is a form of storytelling, our ancestors, our everyday life duties, etc. These are really great, guys. Keep responding, and also feel free to unmute yourself. Malai Lupe said it's a way to express ourselves. Nice. I agree with a lot of these responses, especially to the history part, because as we all know, before Western influence, our storytelling and our history was through oral practices like chants, dances, songs, and Nedra says sometimes these are our only form or knowing history. Exactly. So, you know, when we practice and celebrate these things, for me, I feel like it's a testament to our ancestors who have gone through lots of changes, lots of hardships to preserve our identities. And yes, Majuro said it helps us to not forget. So not to forget where we come from, the traditions we hold, our identity, all of those things.
Can I also add too?
Yes.
Yeah, I think also like, you know, this is also another way for us to teach people about the future or to share new knowledge, not just remembering our past. I think that's something that's one part of it, but I think that we use our way of dancing as a way of, in any kind of art form, to teach new things to other people. So I just want to add that into as well. That's not just remembering the past. We always honor the past, but also to teach the new generation, to, you know, show that there is a future or different kinds of things and knowledges that can be passed on.
Thank you.
And I would like to add on to, hi everyone, my name is Tuiana. I think there's just such a spiritual thing with Siva, with dance, with cultural dance and cultural music. There's so much mana that's behind the lyrics of a song and whatever is composed in that music, and then translating it through the dance that we do in our own version of it. There's such a spiritual connection to our people. There's a spiritual connection to the land of our people. And it brings us and reminds us of, just like Nestor says, it reminds us of the past, but it also pushes us towards the future and how we can shape our future, right? And so that's why I think I love dance, and that's why I think I love cultural practices, especially when it comes to our music. And our music expresses history, but it also expresses kind of the struggles that we all faced, whether it's current struggle right now, whether it's the past struggle, it always pushes us towards the future. And so I think of all the movements that are happening right now, especially in Mauna Kea, where they're using the culture, perpetuating the culture in such a beautiful way to kind of motivate all of us Pacific Islanders to really get connected with our history and our past to perpetuate the future.
Thank you for sharing that. Snaps from everybody. Okay, thanks Nedra for letting us know. And does anybody else have anything to say? I will be moving on to the next part of the presentation soon. Don't all jump at once. Okay, if no one, don't be shy, just be like, hey. Okay, so if no one's gonna has anything else to share, I'm gonna continue on with the presentation. Let's go. And here we go. So back to, now that we've collectively discussed some reasons why we hold such performing arts traditions and their significance, I'm just gonna share really briefly some ancestral knowledge about some performing arts in Hawaii that many people know about, which is hula. I'm doing this mostly to hopefully give you all a better understanding of the point of hula, because American influence has definitely painted it in a really wrong way, and I just want to clear that up. So some things to know about hula is that hula is one part of ancient Hawaiian spirituality. So like it's part of a larger religion and traditional holistic practices. So some of those practices are, hula is one part of it. It's more of a religious aspect. And then another part of it is lua. Lua is Hawaiian martial arts, and it's a bone breaking type of martial arts. So a lot of the forms for combat that you see in lua is used in hula, which is very interesting. And so hula can be physically challenging. And with lua, there is a practice called lomi lomi, much like the Samoan fofo. And basically, these three come together in a relationship where, when you break something, you have to also learn how to fix something and lomi lomi and heal it. And with those things, there is also a spiritual aspect, which encompasses each of the practices, but like hula is another form of that religious tradition. Second is, in ancient times, going off of lua being used for combat and in Hawaiian hula, the best hula dancers were chosen to become warriors, because hula halaus were super, you have to be very committed in basically all aspects of your life: diet, religion, time. And because you perform these hulas in front of chiefs, we ain't performing to no tourists back in the day. It was to chiefs, and if you mess up in front of the chiefs, you better be worried. That's the main part. And then third is, the patron goddess of hula is Laka. So before hula is danced, usually hula dancers honor Laka with an oli or gifts so that Laka can inspire their dancing. So that comes again with the religious aspect of hula that many people don't know about. Fourth is that hula was outlawed in 1830 by the influence of missionaries on a very influential woman chief at the time, who was at the time our main chief died, and it was a time of grieving, and then missionaries came and people were converting, and it was just a really hectic time for the Hawaiian people, and hula became outlawed once missionaries saw it as like heathen. And lastly, there are many types of hula. So many people know about hula awana, which is contemporary hula. Contemporary hula was created because of Western influence. Hula was basically modified into another form because hula kahiko, ancient hula, was seen as savage, whatever. And so hula awana was like a digestible version for Westerners. It wasn't super intense. It was like, oh, come here. Here's my lei. Thanks for coming. It's just I'm not really into hula awana for the practices of tourism, but it's part of the culture now because cultures change. And with that said, I'm gonna share a little bit about Oli and Olelo Hawaii. So Hawaiian Oli is Hawaiian chanting, and Hawaiian Oli has many uses and meanings. It's a form of poetic storytelling. It's a form of retaining history, and it also, just like the hula, has deep spiritual significance. So it can be viewed as like a type of prayer, and like the mana or the power in Oli is that an example is ho'opapa. So ho'opapa is a chanting competition where two chanters have to chant against each other, and they can speak life into the other person, or they can speak death onto the other person and literally kill somebody. And this was seen in Chief Kamehameha. I don't know if some of you heard of him. He unified the islands, but when he was born, there was a chief that was chanting for his death, and there was a chief that was chanting for his life. And if the chief who was chanting for his life wasn't doing that, he might have died and might not have unified the islands. Moving on, Olelo Hawaii, or the Hawaiian language, was outlawed in 1896. So because of that, a lot of history, knowledge, traditions were lost. And in Olelo Hawaii, just like many other Pacific Islander and indigenous cultures, there's more than one meaning to a word, and that ties into the idea of kauna. Kauna is layers. That's what it means. But in the use of Hawaiian language, it also means hidden meaning. So like when Hawaiians write songs or storytelling, there's a lot of kauna in it. So most of the time, we can have an interpretation of what a song means, but in reality, it could mean like totally different. And it's just between the composer and who it was composed for. So knowing these things, I just want to say this is the number one thing to remember, that Hawaii's indigenous traditions like hula was commodified and feminized. What I mean by feminized is a narrative was created that it's like hula is just for girls, or like Hawaii, the picture of Hawaii in a lot of American minds is the hula girl. And that was calculated. I believe it was calculated. If you want to learn more about it, there is a book by the late Professor Haunani K. Trask, and the title of the book is called Lovely Hula Hands, How Corporate Tourism Prostituted American Culture. It's basically, that's the title of the book. So if you want to learn more about how the influence of American foreigners had affected Hawaii's tradition, that's a great book to look up. So this is the image many people see. Yeah, it's the image: tourism, Hawaii, paradise, all of that good stuff. And then this is what indigenous ancient Hawaiian hula looks like. These are some paintings from back in the day. I'm not sure when, but these are also very recent pictures, so that people can have an idea of what indigenous Hawaii traditions look like, and not pretty lay girl on the beach Hawaii. So with that said, we're gonna start the second part of this workshop, and I hope you guys have a better understanding of, Hawaii's traditions with performing arts. And now we're gonna start community share out. So before we start, just gonna remind you guys, it's okay to not share. And when we want to perform, leave the shyness out of there. Proud to be here, happy to be here, and happy that you are sharing your gifts with us. So the floor is open up to people. If there's any kind of art, poem, paintings, anything. Let me mute myself.
Kukui, Lupe asked if you can give us an example.
Ha 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 ha. Funny. Okay, I can. Actually, yeah, I will. I will be sharing an oli lei. So an oli for lei, and this oli, basically it's used before hula dancers start dancing, and it's asking Laka to inspire them to share. So I'll share that. Here. Let me look. Okay, got it. So this is also religious, so please try to be respectful. I would very much appreciate it. Yeah. Ke lei mai la o ka ula I ke kai e. Ke malama lama o ni iha ua mali e. Amali e ua pa ka inu vaila. Ke inu maila na hala o na wei ke kai. No na we ka hala no puna e ka wahine no ka lua no I ki lawe ai. Ke lei mai la o ka ula I ke kai e. Ke malama lama o ni iha ua mali e. Amali e ua pa ke inu vaila. Ke inu maila na hala o na wei ke kai. No na we ka hala no puna e ka wahine no ka lua no I ki lawe ai. That is an oli lei. Mahalo. And yeah, don't be shy, y'all. Share. Thank you. Anybody want to share?
Tell if I can share. I actually just wrote. Oh, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? I actually just wrote this. My camera's not working. I have no idea why. But yeah, talofa everyone. I'm Fia Lawia, and I just wrote this right before this meeting. The story of Fia is not so Fia. Monsters of all kind try to extinguish their happy light, but they stayed stoic and silent until it was too late. No one noticed how she never cried, never blinked, never screamed or hollered. Why is this baby so stone cold? No one can make her laugh till you put a mirror right in front of them. Oh, how they loved themselves. But that was a no-no, leanga, a bad thing. You can't be happy till you make everyone happy. But Fia knew that no one else could make her happy. Pafetai, and that's what I just wrote. So thank you for listening.
Mahalo. Keep it coming, y'all. Super beautiful. While we wait, Malai Lupe.
Hora. I guess I could share something. So for Pacific Islander Heritage Month, we've been encouraging our students to share their own stories, their own narratives in the form of a poem. And I guess I can share that. Oh, wow. Thanks for nominating me. All right.
I'm not expecting a song, but okay.
Yeah, I knew you were. So this is my I am from poem, and it goes like this. I am from tattered, worn out tusipese, from blinding white starch pressed mu'umu'u, and torn duct tape ili, fanning away the heat, wavela lefalo. I am from the small apartment that could house a legion or hold choir practice, spick and span, spotless and quiet, broken by unsuspected bouts of laughter. I am from generations of passed down iakonga, flattened and preserved by the weight of a Queen Sealy Posturepedic. I am from fervent lotu afiafi, concluding with the stirring renditions of Ufiufi lo wanganga, and Sunday afternoon kongai of Albertson's fried chicken, white rice, and sweet Hawaiian rolls. I am from Ia mumua kua mea uma, and awale ka uvarea ka kuainga. The constant goodbye, I love yous whenever I went on a field trip or someone went to SeaTac Airport. I am from Honolulu, the sheltered harbor, and the Samifu, Mayava, Vili, Satele, Save, Keti, Tangi bloodlines. I am from Mom's savory Sua Makalongi and Auntie Angi's precious papa that she especially made for me. From the banging pots of my parents' wedding, Dad with his stunner shades on, and Mom's alma mai wearing dresses that Grandma Sophia sewed. I am from shellacked, vintage family photos hanging up in Grandma Sophia's living room, constantly reminding me of how far we've come and how far I've yet to go. Thank you.
Okay, sprinkling the flavor. Thank you, Malai Lupe. Please keep sharing. This is a safe space, and art is needed in our cultures, and especially nowadays. So please keep sharing, everybody. Mahalo again. Malai Lupe.
I would like to share. So it's not really my artwork, but it's what my brother did, and it's something that's kind of close and dear to me. And so I just want to share this. Oh, little show. Hang on a second. Let me turn off my background. Okay, everyone see? So this is like an artwork that my little brother made, and I used to tell them stories about me and my grandmother, and my grandmother would like I guess like tell me like different legends and stuff back at home. And so my little brother, who's like a upcoming artist, wanted to portray that. And so this is kind of like how I described my grandmother and how she would talk to me when I was a little kid. And so I felt that this captured that memory for me. And so I felt that this was like a very good, I guess, portrayal. And it's an artwork that I was very proud of that he did for me. And so, yeah, so that's kind of the art that I wanted to share.
Thank you, Nestor. Oh yeah, if y'all know any local artists in your area, Pacific Islander artists or art, please share it in the chat. We want to support our artists. Let them know that they're visible and that we support them.
Okay, can you guys hear me now? Perfect. Sorry, I'm not used to using Zoom. So I wanted to say hi to Lauia and Kiana and Edwina. I haven't seen you guys in a long time. So virtual homies. So since quarantine, so my name's Leilani Ka'aivela Padera. I'm born and raised here in Tacoma, but I'm also a proud haumana of Kealo o Kamaili Lauli Ili'i under the direction of Hula Kamaili Hamada. A lot of you guys know him personally. He's the best. So right before quarantine, we were right in the middle of learning, how do I say this? A bunch of things that were necessary for a lot of the girls who are in what we call in Uniki process. And one of the things we never learned how to make was a puniu. So this is my puniu. Can you guys see? And what this is it's a drum, and it's placed on your thigh, on the top of your thigh, and you usually use it for a noho hula, or what we call like a hula when you sit down. It's usually for hula kahiko. And the top, so this is a coconut that I got at Marketplace, because we don't got coconuts here in Washington. I couldn't go pick my own or anything. So I bought this at Marketplace at SARS on Pacific Avenue. And we shaved it down and took all the meat out, and then all the rope is handmade. So it's still not really done, but it took about a week to make. The rope is all handmade, and it's about 15 to 20 feet of rope, and I still have more rope to make. And then the top is hide, and this is actually deer hide. And back home in Hawaii, you can use other kinds of things. Like some people, when they make, hula pahu or other drums, they use like things that are a little bit more intense, like shark skin or, things like that. But here in Washington, in Waikiki Kona, we use deer hide. So that's kind of the beauty about the Pacific Northwest, is there's a lot of familiar resources that we can use as hula dancers, to where you're not buying plastic and making trash bag lays and stuff like that. So you can be very resourceful here, even though you're away from home. You just have to have, the right mindset to kind of figure those things out. So yeah, but I'm really proud of this, because this thing took freaking forever, and I went through 2 coconuts trying to make this. And then the other deer hide I didn't stretch it far enough, so it shrunk, and it wasn't big enough for this. And then my rope, I had to keep adding feet to it. So it took me about a week and a half to make it, but I'm very proud of it. I've never made one before, so this is my first one. You guys can see. And the bottom is pretty intense too, yeah. But yep, that's my share. That's one of my quarantine projects. Thanks, Monday.
Oh yeah, guys, if you, instead of just blowing up the chat, you guys can encourage people by unmuting if you want to. That's totally cool. And mahalo, Leilani. That's a really cool way to show the connections and innovations of culture. That's so dope. So my mom is gonna share soon. Yeah. And yeah, wait, you're gonna come in here? Okay. Yeah, so my mom's gonna share a song, and she might make me do it with her. So hope you guys enjoy. Also, any dance instructors and songwriters, shout out to you guys. We love your work. It was whatever song you like. Sorry. Kalapana, Hole. What? Here's my mom. Oh, okay, wait. She's not ready yet. Sorry.
That's how we forget Lickings live on Zoom.
Yeah, I'm gonna sing with you.
Okay, because I got class in 15 minutes.
Okay. Here's Big Mama, Bigger Me. Okay. What do you want to say?
1 self, 2 self.
Whatever you like, Mom. Not really whatever you like. Oh, you want to do that? Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, am I doing it?
I'll see the next one. Featuring her.
Way back before Hook came, is above the rest. We can't take it for granted, cause that is the seed you planted. We cannot take it for granted, cause that is the seed you planted. Kukamaka e uluola mai kohe mana mana mai kahiki e ulu ka ulu nui ke kohe ahome amana loa. That's our first song. And now it's her turn. Thank you, everybody. This is my song.
After I say it first.
This is our family song. Yeah, you can sing it. Kalapana is an area so quiet and serene, where families never use the word need. Togetherness is not this nothing night. Like home to us is a beautiful sight. Recording now. Thanks, Mom. Bye. Have fun. Yeah, bye. That was my mom, y'all. This is actually on an album. I can put it in the chat, but please continue to share if you are able to. Yeah. Singers, dancers, ready for you guys whenever you're ready.
I can share something. uh, I just wanted to share. I wish I could get up and dance, but I'm in my small apartment bedroom, and my mom's in the living room watching her Korean soap opera. So I don't want to disturb her and kick her out of the room so I can do a dance. So I'm just gonna share a brief object with you, and then sing a song that means so much to me after. But this is Anifo Oti. 1 second, do not mind my room. I'm gonna turn off my background so you can see it. 1 second. Okay, so this is Anifo Oti. This is very special object that means a lot to me, only because this was the last thing my dad made before he passed. This is a Samoan war club. The word Nifo'oti really translates into the tooth of death. And this was a war club used in war times. But modern days, they implemented metal from, the Palangi people who brought it over. But nowadays, there's no time of war anymore. So you would see the taupo and a lot of the fire knife dance, a lot of the entertainment stuff. You'll see this instrument used. And usually when the taupo or the manaya brings in the nifoti, it's to remind them of the old days when we did go into war. But also displays the gracefulness of our Samoan people when they use it. Um, when my dad made this, he made a bunch of these for our family members, and each one of his sibling has one. But every time one of my student dances, whether it's a taupo that represents our group or someone in our family who's representing us, they would always dance with this knife. And it's sort of me passing on my mana and my knowledge onto my students. So when they do their tawalunga, there's a bit of me and my family's mana that goes with them every single time they hit the stage with this. And so that's something that I hold dear to me. And it's something, an heirloom that I would hold dear and pass on to the next generation, who's worthy to carry on that knife and pass on that knowledge. But that's an object that I had. I was inspired by Nestor and all of you who shared your objects in your homes. A song that I wanted to sing for you guys today, since I'm not able to dance in my room, is a song in Samoa's history um, that had to deal with its independence. And the Mau movement was a big deal back in the independent state of Samoa. And then the struggles that they faced with colonialism and how much oppression they faced during those times. And the Maupule was one of the biggest organizations that kind of fought for independence. And this song basically talks about the events of Black Saturday and that dark point in history that kind of turned our people around to really fight for their independence. And this is dedicated to all of Samoa, and especially Tsuputama Sesele Lofi III, who literally sacrificed his life and his blood was spilled for our people. So without further ado, I don't have the best singing voice, but I'll try my best, okay? So hopefully this works. Okay. Elefana tavili ua ote ma I tulai siali ua fa mai Samoa ia to ale tai tali langi so tatoa Fai talia pevetania Ele whanata vili ua o te mai. Tūlai siali maua whai mai. Samoa i le toa le tai tali langi so tato ai. Whai tali a pewe tali na. Awele ko vanga ua e whawhiti e te leilo aina o se whanata vili. A e moli ma o ta maiti ma lea whawhine o ke lisi o e lava na e whapa le whanata vili. A e moli ma o ta maiti ma lea whawhine o ke lisi o e lava na e whapa le whanata vili. Ya, swaf pele Yesu, amene.
Mahalo for sharing. The chat loves you. Mahalo again for sharing. Yeah, and if you know songs that other people know, feel free to sing, you know, only because that's just, I feel like it's just such a part of our culture. So don't be afraid to, you know, share songs that we all know. We can all jump on it. This space was created mostly because I was really bummed out, and I know a lot of people were really bummed out when our cultural events were canceled. So that's kind of why that was the inspiration for this workshop, was to like give artists a chance to share, because we're looking forward to Merry Monarch, to SAC. I love SAC. Such a great experience. And even like our individual schools Paramount event at the end of the year. So please continue sharing. We need arts. And yeah, Space of Aloha, everybody. Thank you again for sharing, everyone who shared. And thank you everyone for being supportive and showing aloha, alofa, ofa to everybody that shared.
Cool, I guess I'll go. I'm actually gonna share an item. I share this all the time, but I like talking about it. So here it is. It's a fan. So in Fiji culture especially, I don't have my traditional fan right now, but in Fiji culture especially, we tend to use these fans for like dances and stuff. So I thought that was really cool. And like the shape, if you see it, it like imitates the shape of a spear. And so these fans, the traditional fans are like really important, especially in Fijian culture. So yeah. Oh no. Oh, okay. That was my fan, but I guess since Kukui just, loves me so much and wants me to sing a song, I guess I'll do that. We sang this before. I sang this before with my fellow peers, Lupe and Kukui, and so I guess I'll sing it again. It's a traditional Fijian chant, so. Oh gosh, I'm nervous now. Okay. Do mai laveta na nonda marau uana pui na huni wau menda waka mundu ovua ni no na kede na lewa. E na veia mbaki.
Baki
Sa otitu.
Otito
Sa sivia kede.
Vivia Kede
Manona ingu.
Nonaingu
Osayadova Nambula tu elele bongi lokudi bongi ongo bongi lokudi bongi ongo. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Saini. Even though I told you.
No, you're good. You're good.
Thank you for sharing.
Sorry, my voice was like super shaky. I was so nervous. But thank you.
You did amazing, and the chat says so itself. Don't worry about it, girl.
Thank you.
Please continue sharing. We still have about we still got some time till this workshop ends. However, you know, I know it is finals week because I got a final after this, but if you gotta go, take care of yourself, but also feel free to stay and continue sharing. And before you leave, there are, I'm gonna just show my screen. Just because we hit an hour, even though we have 30 more minutes. Oh, sorry, Zoom issues. Okay, got it. So, just know this workshop is in part a part of a collective organizing of many other workshops. So there's workshops at the end of the week or throughout the week. Check out this poster with information on it, and here's some of the upcoming workshops on the left side. And this flyer was made by Lupedem, which is amazing. And resources, so make sure you are counted in the census. We need to be represented. You know, the stories we share now, we need to put them in the census because we don't want to be erased. That's not good. It's gonna have a very similar effect to what we all been seeing. And then if you need any COVID resources, please reach out to somebody. These have been hard times, so take care of yourself. And before you leave, there are evaluations. This is the link, and we'll be sharing it in the chat box. But before anybody leaves, Edwina, can we take a picture? Because I forgot the last time we had a workshop, and I don't want to forget this time. So
yes, you can.
Yeah. So please pose, everybody. Show us your beautiful Pacific Islander, Black, Native American, Latinx faces, because we love you guys. Oh, yeah. Or show us your puka teeth, whichever you want.
Bruh. I want to invite everyone who maybe have their video off if you want to join this beautiful family photo. If not, we can totally take a picture of your name. But if you want to take 2 seconds, I'll give everyone a few seconds just to join. We see Deborah getting ready. Oh, I see Donna and Deborah's photo. Oh, okay, Saini, already ready. Anybody else want to join our photo? If not, we're going to just take the family picture. You have 5 seconds. All right. Are we posed? Everyone good? All right, everyone pose and 1, 2, and smile. All right, one more pose. 1, 2, and 3. All right, thank you, Kukui, for that.
But yeah, y'all, if you have another Zoom meeting to go to, because I know most of us are working in education or in school right now, that's cool. But if you want to stay for the next 24 minutes, we're just going to continue on doing the same thing and encouraging community share out. Hi, Nai Nai.
Auntie Deborah, do you have a song for us?
Deborah, you have been anointed.
Also, Lupe has been anointed as well. Don't forget.
Kyunga elders first, please.
All right, hold up. Let me grab my. All right. I don't know what to sing. Dude, I'm in my room. My guitar is already here. Look, that encouragement just felt like shade. So, all right. So I'm gonna try to sing one of my favorite Marshallese songs, and even though I'm not Marshallese, it's a song that means a lot to me. I got a chance to go teach in the Marshall Islands, and I was there for 3 years. And this was the original national anthem, and the song is entitled "Ijakwela Ailen Yoao," and it talks about the importance of a land or a space where the Marshallese people come from and how they cherish the land. So if you're not familiar with the Marshall Islands, the majority of the country is made up of atolls, which are small ringlets of islands. And the one that I lived on was Mejero, and Mejero's elevation, I think, was 12 feet. Yeah, super low. So anytime that there's king tides or if there's an earthquake, everyone's always scared because of the chance of flooding. And so land uh, is very prized in the Marshall Islands because there's not that much land in their country. And so uh, people really, their identity is really in the ocean and also the shared spaces that people have. And when I was there, I could see how much people loved being where they're from. And they talked a lot about nuclear testing and how that just displaced a lot of people, and talking about things that are current right now, climate change. There's so many islanders that already lost their homes forever. And I think it's very timely for a song like this. So here goes. If you know the song, sing along with me, AANAPISI students. Ijakwelo aile doa ijo yarlo take melankoye ibialko imi yayo Ijawi ilojene kweiju jiguremo imalemore enreo eman lange meje. All right, cool. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, Lupe. There you go. Okay, Deborah.
I don't have a song. I'm sorry, guys. and I don't have a guitar behind me or any other instrument, but I will sing this song that my family always sings randomly, and that's the only words I know. Sing along, please, if you know the words. Tal tala tala means too much talk. Sa vali vali means go for a walk. Aloha yate oi means I love you. Take it easy, fly, fly, lemu. All right, everybody, sing with me. Tal tala tala means too much talk. Sa vali vali means go for a walk. Aloha yate oi means I love you. Take it easy, fly, fly, lemu. Thank you for not singing with me. Yes, thank you.
I love it. That was awesome. If y'all have any more songs to call on each other, do it. Love it. Also, people can also share stories if they're okay with it. You know, that's cool too. That is also a form of art, storytelling. So yeah, if you are a great storyteller, chat away, unmute yourself. That is another form of art. Unmole. Here we go.
I don't. I'm not. If I sing, stuff is gonna break. I'm not a good singer.
You don't have to sing Unmole, but you also don't have to do it if you don't want to. That's okay too. But yeah.
More of an observer. I mean, in terms of like our cultural songs and stuff like that, like you mentioned, culture is always changing, right? So like the vernacular and just the song format, it's always changing. So maybe I could ask my folks to see if maybe they want to share a song. Hold on.
Oh yeah, also, you know, it's okay if you are not part of the Pacifica. People who join, we see you as allies. So thank you for coming and learning. And please share the lessons you learned out to the community. Mahalo.
Can you guys hear me? Okay, so I'll go again. So I wanted to point out, like, I thought it was really interesting how in the beginning of this workshop we were talking about a lot of things in hula that I feel like a lot of people were kind of chiming in and they were like, oh, I didn't know that, and I think it's important to point out that you know, hula is a massive kuleana, like a massive responsibility. And you know, sometimes I watch hula dancers and I'm watching them and I go, you know what, they look so happy and they look so not stressed out. And for me, it's just like, I'm kind of jealous because like, I feel like hula has always been such a demanding thing when you become a practitioner. You get, I mean, it's fun, don't get me wrong, but there's such a grueling side of it that I think people aren't really aware of. And even though I practice here in Washington, I guess depending on where your hula lineage comes from, that will determine how demanding hula can be in your life. So anyways, so my kumuhula, something I wanted to share, my kumuhula is my everything. Like that's my dog, that's my pele, that's my everything. My kumuhula is like, he is like my grandpa, like he is my everything, you know? And he comes from an island we like to call Kamavailualani, or is known as Kauai nowadays. And he comes from a place called Waimea Valley. And so the way he talks and stuff is all old, is very kawaii, is very kawaii no ko'oi, you know, everything's kawaii kawaii based, you know. And so we have had the opportunity to go there plenty times over the years. You know, I've been dancing with him for almost 20 years now. And I'm very familiar with Kauai, but every time I go there, it's, you know, people are like, oh, Kauai's beautiful, and it is beautiful. But every time I go there, I'm like, oh, shoot, here we go. You know, I'm not gonna have life for like 2 more weeks because, you know, it's so brutal. Every time we're there, there's so much to do and so much to take care of. So I wanted to show you guys this project that we did when we were there. And my kumu hula has this, he has this connection, his family has this connection in certain parts of the land there. And one of their land masses in their family, in their ohana, is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Pa'akai fields. And the Pa'akai fields are the saltwater ponds that, where they create salt. And a lot of those fields have been, I don't know if people keep up with stuff like this, but they were recently kind of endangered. There was like a helicopter thing going on, and they were trying to build on the land over there. And so I didn't understand why it was so important for us to go. And so when we got there and I started to see the labor of love that goes into making Hawaiian salt, it was a very, very special thing. And people don't think, oh, it's not really nothing, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, she makes salt. But the process is so grueling. It's so grueling. And there's not many people and not many families that still do it in a traditional Hawaiian manner, right? And all these saltwater ponds and stuff like that, it also dwells within our hula and within our chants and our mele, right? And it's like everything kind of comes full circle. So we had to make our pa'u from the saltwater ponds, from the mud and the dye that was within everything that they make their salts. So I wanted to share this with you. Let me put the camera the other way. This is my pa'u that I made over there. And you can see it's kind of like a reddish, orangish kind of color. And it was sewn later. There's no hem or anything. It's got kind of like a rough edge. And yeah, it's ironed and stuff like that. But this is what we wear when we dance hula. And this pa'u was made specifically for the story of, can you guys see me? For the story of, what is his name? Kualu Nui Kimeakea. And he was the guy that brought Menehune from Tahiti to Kauai. And this process and learning this kahiko and making our adornments and our costume was very, very, very brutal. Very, very brutal. But it's something now that I look back on and I go, I cannot believe I survived that. Do you know what I mean? It's a huge learning process, but it's just something that I'm really, really proud of. And this pa'u is something that I'm so happy that we got a chance to do. Because now all the mana and all the sacrifice and the blood and the sweat and the tears that went into that process, now I can hand down to my kids and to my daughter. So my hope is that, you know, one day I can see her wearing these same things, the same things, but in the matter that, you know, of my journey when I did it. So there it is. You can see it again if you want to. But yeah, that's my share. No hula today, y'all. I'm off today.
Mahalo for sharing all your ike with us and the whole process and just like the reality that hula is a lot more than just dancing. So mahalo, that was really awesome. So we are on our last 5 minutes. If anyone wants to share, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to share towards Leigh's point, just how important it is to look at the process for all of the things that we use. So thank you, Leigh, for the things that you shared earlier on, like showing how you have to make rope and, you know, grind on coconuts and how much process and care goes into a lot of our things. I don't have access to the shared screen or whichever, but and I don't have a palefuyongo here, but in Samoan culture, a lot of times you'll see a band that are the taupo or a manaya will wear, and it has these shells across it, and it's called a palefuyono. And so I always just heard it as a palefuyono. I always heard it's just this band, but I didn't learn until recently that fuyono is actually the name of the shells that are across it. So fuyono is a nautilus. And what's important about that is that this band across your head, it has probably like 12 shells across it. But nautilus do not, they're not from anywhere around Samoa. Actually, the closest place you can get them is Fiji. And you have to dive hundreds and hundreds of feet down in order to even access where they're at. So what that tells us is part of the adornment in a tuinga. Sorry, I'm like using all these words, and like if you're not Samoan, you might not understand. So kiunga or mane, you can put these words in the chat. But in a tuinga, when you see the palfuyongo, that's a top that's affixed to a part of it on chiefs or a village maiden who's a taupo or a highly titled man, all of those shells come all the way from Fiji. So they really bring attention to the type of trade that we had with Fiji, and even the things that Fiji had to do just to acquire nautiluses to bring to us. And so I think about that a lot when we think about the cultural adornments that we have, like in Mane's photo. There we go. So even the hair that's there, like that's hair that's passed down from your ancestors. So you'll have a tuinga, like a headdress that's been in your family for like 7 generations. So you'll still be able to see like the ukus in there. Ukus is lice, you know what I'm saying? You'll be able to see ukus in there. Okay. The red feathers that are on some of the tuinga are they're senga feathers, so they're very, very fine feathers, meaning that you would have to catch a senga bird, which is small parrots, and their feathers are no more than like a few centimeters long. So you would have to bind a bunch of those together just to get the types of feathers that you see in a tuinga, and then bind it with the palefuyono that has these special shells that are all the way from Fiji. So I think a lot of times when we think crowns, we always see like these like golden, crowns from monarchs in Europe, without recognizing how intricate our own like headdresses are in our own cultures. So there's story for you. That's story time for me. Thank you. I've done my part. Monica can say more because he does this stuff. He's, bro.
Just touching up on what Kiana said, there's so much stuff, a labor of love that goes into it. There's different pieces. There's the palefuyono, like Kiana said. There's the lave that sits up on the bun, and then each hair is a bundle that's strapped around the bun when they pull up your hair very tight. And I make it a purpose when I teach my kids, and when I dress my taupo, I make sure it's a pale or tuinga fowl, making sure that it's traditional. So that way those traditions don't die off, right? You'll see nowadays Samoans, they make tuingas, and it's this big helmet that's plastered on your head, and it has all the modern day stuff on it. But we want to make sure that we try to keep those traditions alive. And it's okay to wear a, tuinga pale, but make sure you also know about the tuinga fowl and the traditions of the old people and the meaning behind that. And even the hair was such a long process, right, Kiana? Because they have to dye the hair. They would cut that hair from, their elders, and the people who are related to that tuinga would cut their hair, and they would have to treat it in the ocean water to make the hair pigment lighter. And so not everybody in that village would wear that tuinga. That tuinga was related to the person who wore it. So the whole objective of that was for that mana to be passed on to them when they wear it, especially at traditional ceremonies like the Ava ceremony or doing the Tawalunga, any occasion like that. But I love our people and the beautiful cultural practices that we still keep alive today. So keep being stewards of our culture, you guys, and keep passing on that knowledge to the next generation. Very important.
So Mahalo again, Kumus, for sharing your knowledges. But in the interest of time, it is 1:30 your guys' time. So if you guys have to leave, that's totally cool. I just want to thank you all for coming into this space full of Ofa, Alofa, and Aloha, so that we could share things that we might have not been able to share this year. I just want to make a comment off of what Kumumane said. It's so important for us to remember the past and practice those traditions, but as the world keeps changing and as they keep knowing about us, it'll become another journey for us to navigate. How do we retain culture and how do we keep moving forward? Because I always think about something my teacher, my science teacher back in 7th grade said. I asked him why Latin was used for science, and he said because it's a dead language. It doesn't change, it doesn't move. So when I think about cultures that change, even for good and bad reasons, to me it signals that our cultures are living and it's adapting. And just like Lei shared, wherever you at, sometimes you got to make do with what you got. You got to use one trash bag to make one lei. You got to use deer skin. And but the fact that even though some things are changing, we're still like upholding these traditions and the kuleana, the right and privilege that we have and the responsibility we have to our culture. So I just want to thank everyone again for coming, and please fill out the evals. I think I'm going to put it in the message. I'll put it back in the message, but I just really want to keep thanking you guys because this is just really awesome, and I'm really glad that this space allowed people to feel safe and to share. Mahalo. But yeah, y'all, not to kick you guys out. It is 1:30. And yeah, just thank you so much. Love you guys. You guys can unmute and be like bye to your friends. I know y'all know each other.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Thanks,
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Everyone.
Bye, Lupe.
Bye. Good to see you, Lalani.
Bye, Lamia.
Oh, bye. Bye, Nani. Oh, my God.
Bye.
I will.
Yeah.
Once I get out of quarantine. I'm just joking. Bye, y'all. Bye, Jesse.
All right, Ambo. And
Bye,
fam.
Money.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, mentors, teachers, friends.
All right.